MZTV.
Did you ever notice, my friends, that Jesus is never in a hurry? Never gets panicked. God, same way. They're never running around, never in a hurry, never freaking out over a circumstance as we do every day. Oh, I forgot to pay my electric bill. Blah, blah, blah. Hurry up. Write a check. Oh, shoot. We need toilet paper. Run off to the store. Oh, you find out somebody's sick. You fly down to see them. You're flustered. It's just we are constantly responding to stimuli. And many times we don't respond well. I don't when I'm driving, for instance. I always want to get where I want to get. I want to get there, and I don't like stop signs. I obey them all. I don't like red lights. I obey them all. But all these things are an insult. Life is hard enough. It's like we want to be among the celestials where our realm is inherent. We want to be with Jesus Christ. We want to be with God. And we can't get there, right? Because we're stuck here in this body of humiliation. It's not our time yet. I know, I've heard it all before. It's not our time yet. I got it. That's not our time yet. So we're slogging through, can't get where we want to go. Okay, so I guess we have to stay down here for a little bit longer. And then while we're down here, we can't get where we want to go down here. We can't. Do you remember a couple years ago, I was going to Ohio? I was flying from here to Ohio, and because of weather, my flight was diverted to somewhere, New Jersey, and I had to spend the night sleeping on the floor at the New Jersey airport, and I had to wait in line for like 3 hours at United. It's like, I can't get there from here. Same here in South Florida. Stop signs, stop lights, and then when the light does turn green, people don't move. Why? Because they're all texting. Ugh. Jesus isn't like this. I'm going to be cured of this when I see Jesus, when my made immortal. But in the meantime, I have to admire it from afar. Listen to this in John chapter 11. Yes, Jesus hearing it, that is hearing, some people were dispatched to him, and he heard that Lazarus, his friend, the brother of Mary and Martha, was very sick. And remember, he said, this infirmity is not toward death, like I told you yesterday. It's not toward death. That's not what we're looking at. We're not looking at death here. Knowing, however, that he was going to die. Jesus, knowing that he was going to die. And, wait for it, wanting him to die. Hold on to that thought. Don't panic. This infirmity is not toward death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God should be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. As then he hears that he is infirm, then indeed, and this is how one would think the Bible would read. This is how it should go, okay? As then he hears that Lazarus is infirm, he indeed gets the first donkey south, heads to Bethany as fast as he can, runs in and says, I hope he hasn't died yet. Where's Lazarus? That's what it should say. No, but it doesn't say that. And on hearing that Lazarus is infirm, Jesus Christ wrung his hands, ran his fingers through his hair, paced back and forth, couldn't find a donkey, so his apostles and him started off at a slow trot for Bethany. No, there's what happened. As then he hears that Lazarus is infirm, then indeed he remains in the place in which he was 2 days. He remains. And I think probably the messenger who brought this message from Mary and Martha to Jesus was probably, because Mary and Martha probably said, get to Jesus quick. Because Jesus is in the heyday of his public ministry. He's curing people left and right, raising people from the dead, walking on water, things like that. And they have an inn. They are friends with this man. And while he's away, their brother is sick. So they're thinking old school. Well, I can't blame them. You know what old school is? All right, They get a guy, the fastest runner they know, maybe one of their neighbors. They pay him whatever they need to pay this guy. And he said, okay, Jesus said he was going to, I don't know where he is at the time. And let's say he's in Caesarea. Okay, Jesus said he was going to be in Caesarea. Get up there as quick as you can. Take a horse or run, do whatever you do, but get there fast and tell him that Lazarus is in for him. Tell him to get his holy ass down here ASAP. Lazarus is dying. We know that Mary said this because of what she said when he finally got back to Bethany. I'm not making fun of these people at all. I feel for these people. They're humans and they struggle, and Jesus did too. When he finally sauntered back to Bethany, he wept at the tomb of Lazarus. Even knowing what he would do, he still wept because he loved Lazarus. And death sucks, no matter what. Even if death is 5 minutes from being abolished, you should weep at it. Because it's terrible. It's an enemy, according to our apostle. 1 Corinthians 15:26. So Jesus remains 2 days. This is the opposite of being in a hurry. Now, I wonder what happened. The courier, the messenger, goes back to Bethany, and Mary and Martha see him coming down the long driveway. I'm guessing, you see, and they see him coming. They see a little cloud of dust. They're like, here he comes, here he comes. And they're figuring Jesus is going to be right behind him. The messenger gets there. Did you tell him? Yeah, I told him. All right, where is he? Is he coming down? Well, I don't know where he is. What do you mean you don't know where he is? All you told me was to tell him. And then I told him, and then he said, okay, thank you very much. I looked at him, he looked at me, nothing happened, and I just came back. You idiot! You moron! They probably said. Maybe I'm projecting. I might be projecting there, I'm sorry. Why didn't you make sure he followed you here? So anyway, the sisters wait 1 day. They wait 2 days. And it must have been a 2-day trip, because by the time he got there, he was 4 days in the slammer. Yeah, the big slammer, the tomb. But actually, he didn't die right away. So maybe it was a day's journey. I'm not sure. But you get the point, is that Jesus does not hurry back. Far from it. Jesus said something like, you guys want to catch a movie over at Sephora's? You want to catch a movie over at Nazareth? And they're going, what? Didn't you hear your friend you spent the night at his house many times. You love him and his sister, and what do you mean you want to catch a movie? Jesus needed Lazarus to die so that he could make a point. And oh, what a point he was going to make. He eventually goes back, and the first thing Mary and Martha say, this is verse 20 of John 11. Martha then, as she hears that Jesus is coming, and she is a little bit hot under the collar. Somebody said, Jesus is coming. It's like, oh, great. Yeah, little too late. She's thinking to herself, because Lazarus is dead. She's a little hot under the collar. She's human. She's ticked. Okay? She's ticked. Tries to be nice, but she's not happy. Martha then, as she hears that Jesus is coming, meets him, yet Mary was seated in the house. Mary was so ticked, she didn't even want to come out and see him. Martha then said to Jesus, hi, Jesus. No. Martha then said to Jesus, how was your trip? No. Martha said to Jesus, oh, we sure missed you. I'm glad to see you're looking well. Nope. She is ticked. First thing she says is, Lord, if you were here, my brother wouldn't have died. Boy, I feel for this woman. I feel for the emotion, for the sadness, for the frustration. To have one who is so able be so near and yet so far. I can relate to this. And you can too, because we are so near to the fulfillment of all our hopes and desires and the end of all our frustrations and pain. So near and yet so far. And we're like, where is he? And when he does come, I hope that, like Martha, we do not say, if you'd have come last month, I wouldn't have wrecked my car. If you had come 2 years ago, my son wouldn't have died. These things happen on purpose because Jesus Christ has waited so long to return to us. He didn't come 2 years ago on purpose so that the things that have happened to you subsequent to that time would have happened. He wanted them to happen. And Martha quickly comes to her senses, just like we do, and we will, just like we will. We will come to our senses. There may be a little look like, finally, but that won't last long. Lord, if you were here, my brother would not have died, but even now, I am aware that whatsoever you should be requesting of God, God will be giving it to you. Faith. Faith. Stick it. Yes, that is faith. Stick it to him. And faith does stick to Jesus Christ. Yes, whatever you say you will do. Irritated, then quickly dissolves, got it out of her system. I know that whatever you say, everything obeys you. Now you're here, and everything's going to happen. Everything's going to be okay. I just know it because you are here. Couldn't help being irritated there. Jesus, yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Stand back. And we know what happens. With a loud voice, Jesus cries out, Lazarus, hither, out. And he who had been dead 4 days came back to life. And there was rejoicing and celebration that clearly would not have happened if Lazarus had not died, or if Lazarus had not even been sick. It's the contrast, the joy, the rejoicing, the thankfulness, the giddiness, the happiness requires Lazarus to have died, requires Lazarus to have gotten sick. It requires the Lord to have waited 2 days. He has been gone 2 days. 1,000 years is as a day. He has been gone 2,000 years. I see this 2 days as a parallel to the 2,000 years Jesus Christ has been gone. But he is returning soon, and he is going to say, stand back.